Hey everyone, in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to create this Halloween masquerade mask. This is part 1 of 2. In this part I'm going to show you how to just create the mask. Whenever you're ready to watch part 2, the link for that is in the description box. I do want to warn you that this tutorial does take a good amount of time, so just keep that in mind if you do think you want to create this for Halloween. To begin, I'm going to use a plain white cardboard mask, and I bought this from a AC Moore. You can pick it up from any craft store. So first I'm just going to remove the string on it. Not all of them have it, but if it does, you can just take it off. You don't need it. Next, I'm going to create a border or bigger openings, so I'm going to use a pen and draw a border around the eyes as well as the nose. It's up to you how much of the cardboard you want to remove or how big you want the opening. Obviously, the more mask that you remove, the more of your face is going to show. So I'm simply drawing little lines that I'm going to cut along to remove the excess cardboard. So you can take your scissors and really design the mask however you'd like. I do recommend buying a cardboard mask, not a plastic mask. A cardboard mask is going to be a lot easier to use and work with. Next, we're using paper towel and we're going to create ripped strips with this. You are not cutting the strips, make sure you are ripping it by hand. The messy, jagged, ripped edges are going to look a lot more realistic. So prepare yourself a few strips, and you're going to have to make them smaller anyway, so don't really worry about the size right now. After you have a few of the strips ready, you can kind of set them aside and start piecing them together to fit the edge of the mask. To get the paper towel to stick, I'm using my Cinema Secret liquid latex, and I'm applying this first on the outer edge of the mask. Then I'm using my pieces of paper towel and applying half on the mask and glue, and then the half hanging off of the mask. You do want some of it hanging off because this is what you're going to pull up to create the rippled or ripped skin. The half that is on the mask, you can go ahead and apply more liquid latex on this and use your finger to kind of smooth out the edges. That way it's going to be a lot easier to soften the edge with your concealer later on. Now I'm going to repeat this tedious process of the latex, then paper towel, then latex again, until I'm completely done with all edges on the side of the mask. Then following the same steps, I'm going to do this again to the edges of the eyes. Once all edges of the mask are completely covered with the latex and paper towel, we're going to move on to another step and let this dry. While my latex and paper towel are drying, I'm going to paint a wooden stick black, and this is what you're going to later attach to hold your mask. Once my mask is dry, I'm going to move back to it and apply Duo Lash Glue. I'm placing this over top the paper towel. This is going to create a waterproof barrier between this and the fake blood that we're going to apply later. Not only does it create a barrier, but it also will harden the paper towel so it's more durable. To apply the glue, you can use a brush or your finger. I then apply a very thin layer of the liquid latex again, but this time I'm applying it on the rest of the mask. Doing this will even out and create texture. It also holds your makeup. Before moving on to the next step, please make sure your mask is fully dry. To create the look of skin, I'm using my Morphe 10 Shade Concealer palette. The colors that you choose to use are going to be based on your skin tone, but just so you know, I do use the entire row as well as 2 colors on the bottom for my mask to create the most realistic look I can. This gives dimension as well as highlighting it and contouring to the mask. Do not stick to using one shade. This is going to make the mask look very flat and not very real. So as you can see, I'm using a concealer brush and I'm applying this all over the white, so any white showing on the outside you're going to completely cover. When you're done with the concealer, you can use a pressed or loose powder and apply this all over just to set it. Now the skin part is done, we can move on to creating eyebrows. To To do this, I used craft fur from the craft store, and this is in a brown shade. And then I use a eyebrow stencil to help me give an idea of what the eyebrows should actually look like. If you want, you can completely freehand the brows, that's up to you, but doing this gives you a little extra step to make sure that the brows do look more real. You can just lay down the stencil and then lightly brush an eyeshadow in there or bronzer, something super light, and it's going to leave an eyebrow mark for you. Now both of my brow markings or little cheat sheet for my brows are applied. I'm going to cut off some of the fur or hair. Make sure the hair is cut up into pretty small pieces. It's a lot easier to work with when it is really short. I am then taking eyelash glue and a brush, and I'm going to apply this over the little markings that we made. I then take tweezers and apply the hair on top of the glue. I recommend doing the brows in sections instead of applying the glue all at once. Just be patient, apply a small amount of glue, then the hair, and then repeat the process. For any of the hair that's too long, you can just take scissors and trim them. Now my brows are done, I'm going to create the actual mask look of it. I'm first taking a hot glue gun and applying the mask itself to the black stick we painted before. Masquerade masks are usually very decorative with feathers, jewels, things of that nature. To give it decoration, I'm using a black feather. And jewels that I saved from broken jewelry. You can buy gems or stones from any craft store though. The decoration is completely up to you. You can do something entirely different colors, different type of decoration. Do it however you want. To finish the mask, all you have to do is add the fake blood. I added fake blood all on the inside, and I brought it down just enough to peek over the edge so you can see the ripped part. And then I also did a splatter effect using a makeup brush and just flinging the brush hairs. Just like everything else, the intensity and the look is completely up to you. You can add more or less blood. So now you're done with the mask. Here's the finished look. To see how I create the finished look and how I did the part on the face itself, head on over to part 2. The link for that is in the description box. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.